it's rarely a few people that can really walk away from that money. When you've been used to living a certain lifestyle, and just say celebrities, or even people that start out in church, or if you was brought up poor, a question was asked to me, why you think so many people, especially when it comes to preaching, they'll stop preaching and go back to what they know best, what they was making their money with. And you have to realize you have entertainers in this life, performers and entertainers. And when they say they're good at what they do. Now, I'm going to take George Foreman for an example. This fits so perfect. When you listen to George Foreman over the years, or if you've seen the movie Big George, I think it was called Big George. Remember the turning point when George got born again, right? He was all about ministry. He retired from boxing. He was all about ministry, right? Doing things in the community, but finances wasn't the same. And I'm not saying this to say they didn't want to take care of George. What I'm saying is George, when he became a preacher, that George was used to a certain lifestyle, certain income. And even in the movie, if you listen at him close enough, when he was getting angry and frustrated, he said, preaching don't pay the bills. Because everything he was doing from his heart. See, a lot of times, the preachers that's out here doing it for free, doing it from the heart, those are the ones that get overlooked a lot, the ones that's not begging for money. Then you got those beggars, those prosperity preachers. But George said preaching ain't paying the bills. George had a family. So what did George do? He went back to what he knew. Boxing. George, let me see, what year was that when George... It had to be in the 90s when he went back, because he fought Michael Moore. He beat Michael Moore, and I want to say he became the heavyweight champion again, and maybe 44, 45 years old, or however George was. Y'all correct me on that. But he made more money off of the grill. So I'm not saying that to down churches. I'm saying a lot of people have a certain way they live. It's only a few that'll take a huge loss and live normal, like a normal person. You see it with these preachers now. How many preachers can really stop preaching? Let me say this a better way. Let's talk about a prosperity preacher. How many prosperity preachers right now can walk away from all the money that I made all these years? I'm talking about give it up. And if you listen at the story of the majority of people, they was brought up poor, and they never wanted to be poor ever again. But see, you got people that give from the heart, and you got these takers out here. George Foreman said preaching didn't pay his bills. It's not saying the church wasn't taking care of him, especially when you're in a smaller church, and like the Bible say, know those that labor amongst you. Some deserve double honor. That's the one that's truly laboring. But the ones that deserve double honor, a lot of times, they don't even get nothing, really. They get overlooked, talked bad about, and they preaching their heart out. They doing all the outreach, and they do helping the community. And it's like, so what? It's what you're supposed to be doing, preacher. But George said that again, preaching wasn't paying his bills. So he went back in the ring and started, all he had to do was one fight. Man, you know, one fight for some of these folks will last them, if they good stewards, man. George made some good money in his time. He did. And I just wanted to use him for an example because he went back to preaching. Look at Al Green. Al Green, when he went back, when he started preaching, you know, get some hot grit stored on you, it'll make you change your mind on a lot of stuff. But I just look at so many people over the years. There's a show, a series I used to watch all the time when it shows everybody's lifestyle. They talk about what they went through. Unsung. Y'all remember that? Unsung. You could see everybody that was on there, man, the struggle that they had in so many ways. And most of these people started out in the church. Just like I told y'all about Marvin Gaye dad, him, you know, getting into it with his daddy being a Pentecostal preacher who also was a cross-dresser. But when you are an entertainer and you've been, whatever it is, you are athlete like George was, 9 times out of 10, most of them gonna go back to what they know because the money, when you got a certain lifestyle you trying to maintain also, it's like it's rarely a few people that's gonna leave their buku loads of money and just try their best to live normal. Like they say, man, I ain't trying to trade places with nobody. I love what I got. Some people so fascinated and in love with what they doing, family, and that's how they die. I always said years ago, man, Ali would have retired. Some of these folks know they don't have nothing else to prove, but they say, when I'm a fighter, that's all I know. God gave me that gift, and that's all I know. Some of them don't have nothing else to prove. And I looked at all the punishment Ali took to that head, man. That brain, that head, that noggin, as the old folk would say. Even when he fought Ken Norton, and you look at somebody like George Foreman, the power of George Foreman, even when he was in his 40s. Was he 38 when he won? Y'all correct me on that. I'm trying to remember. I know he wasn't 50. I don't even think he was 40. He may have been 38. How old was George Foreman in 1994? 93 or 94. It had to be 93 or 94. But I remember when he hit Michael Moore, boy, and then look at how many sons he got. Named all of them George. So once again, when you used to that certain lifestyle, that's why I say most of these prosperity preachers, they're not going to stop. They're not going to go back to being, if they was poor, they're not going to go back to being poor. They done got used to, like the rich man in Luke 16. That man was used to his lifestyle. And that's the way he died. And he didn't take nothing with him. And he was concerned about his 5 brothers who needed to be saved. What does it profit a man to gain the world? Lose his soul. Shalom, family.